Welcome to the Neighborhood Pulse. Wherever you are in life, you never forget the neighborhood. This is the show that talks all about real estate. Hear it from the industry professionals. Join host Kevin Callback from Realty Executive Cornerstones and Eddie Martinez from MSB to learn what the Neighborhood Pulse is. Of course, the Neighborhood Pulse brought to you through the financial support of our good friends over at Mobile Accounting, bringing the world of tax and accounting to you. Check them out at www.mobile.tax or give them a call at 224-321-6859. Today on the Pulse, we've got our good friend Mike Tobin from, let me get him up here. That's a weird thing to say, but let's do it anyway. Right there.
There you go.
From Key Mortgage, there he is. The man, the myth, the legend, the guy who's been in it all. Today, talking about moving and setting people up for success. Welcome in, guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Michael,
Glad to
welcome
be
on
here.
board. Glad to
Yeah.
have you, man. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. It is Friday afternoon. We call that Freedom Friday. Break
Freedom
things that bind you,
Friday.
right? And today we're talking about, you've been in the business a couple of years now. How long you been doing this?
38 years.
38 years.
Whew.
38 years is a long time.
Hey, you look like you're only 38 years old. You look good, man.
Exactly.
That's it. So there's a lot of lenders that go to
Bulb.
this lender to get their answers, right?
Yeah.
It's
There you
true.
go.
I think we've called a few times. Hey,
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. So, who have you been with? Where you been? Tell us a little bit about you and your background history, so people understand that you are the expert here.
Background is, banking, mortgage companies. Had my own for about 10 years until the financial crisis, and been with Key 8 years now, and enjoy it, and love making people's dreams come true.
That's
That's
it.
what it's all about.
That is what it's all about. It's about serving our family, friends, people that we haven't met yet to achieve the dreams that they're looking for. Right. So you've been doing it 38 years, you said?
38
Yeah,
years,
38
1984.
It's a long time. Key Mortgage,
Yeah.
8 years. And it's been an amazing ride. Right?
It has been.
We've
Yes.
we've worked together for a number of years now, and it's always been a pleasure. So thank you.
You
for
bet.
that.
You bet.
And we got Eddie Martinez here
Yes.
today. How you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing great. Just wanted to make sure I was here for this one. I'm here for all of them, but since I'm in that field, I feel like I'll gain a lot of knowledge and things that make you who you are today to just help me sharp tune my skill set and whatnot. So thank you for being here.
You're
That's
welcome.
it.
Definitely.
So we can talk about rates, but I don't know that we need to. Everybody knows that they've gone up a little bit, and but there's still great rates. So I don't know that. I think we keep telling everybody still a great time to buy. I don't know that we need to do that anymore. I think people should understand that. Hey, you still may have missed 3%, but 5.5%, 6% is.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it as, you may have missed the lows of the last 50 years. You're still looking at the lows of the last 40, really.
Right.
I mean, they're still, in terms of where a normal market is, I mean, we're somewhat there, but they're still relatively low overall, for sure.
Dude, this is my opinion. It may or may not be true. So I think people have remorse they're like fear of missing out, and they feel like they've missed out. So they've kind of given up for a second, or just have that just deflated. They're deflated right now. But I think everybody's going to pick them back up and run with it again. Would you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of people out there looking. I don't think you can lose in real estate, in this day and age with the way demand is, and I don't see it falling anytime soon. With what I'm looking at, I mean, I have a ton of buyers out there looking, just trying to find the right home, and it's
Right.
been kind of tough.
Definitely.
So there's a lot of them out there, which is why I look at, I don't really see, we might flatten, but I really don't see any kind of
Right.
price reductions or
Yeah.
what have you in the long run. That's for sure. Nothing like 12, 13 years ago. That was a fluke, but we're in a completely different place economically. And,
Right.
if somebody wants a job today, it's certainly not hard to go find one.
You're
That's for
tripping over
sure.
them these days.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
is that another job?
So- Yeah, if they want one. Exactly. But
That's right.
so I really, from that standpoint, pent up demand, there's a million things we could talk about as to why we are where we are today. Number of factors that I've looked at
Yeah.
that I think are critical in terms of why we are where we are. I mean, we haven't really built anything for 10 years. We're starting to again.
Right.
So that's been,
Trying to play catch up on
catch up
inventory.
there. the biggest thing I look is the exodus to the suburban market from the city in some respects, because people aren't commuting downtown to work or into the, the major hubs of any city. I look at a lot of kids that graduated 10, 12 years ago. For the last 8 or 10 years, they've been living in the basement, unfortunately, because there haven't been good job prospects.
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, you got a great economy over the last 4 years or so, and they're out looking.
Yep.
And
for sure.
and then you look at birth rates. The average, or 40% of your market are age 30 to 35.
Yeah.
And if you go back 30 to 35 years ago, there was a huge year-over-year birth rate spike for whatever reason.
I
So
think
now you
COVID's gonna
have,
create that same.
yeah,
same
and
thing.
and you've got a lot of people who did nothing for a couple of years too,
Right.
for fear of COVID, and you're seeing them still. But
Yep,
it's been a
absolutely.
great market. So anyway,
We've seen over the years, things happen. Kids coming back to live with mom and dad for COVID, job loss, whatever. There are many, many reasons. And now we're seeing parents moving in with the kids. COVID, I've seen a lot more of that. Where we're
Yep.
looking for more of those in-law apartments, 2 flats, ranches with another.
Townhomes and what have you.
Right, full bath on the first floor, right? So they can convert an office into a bedroom, something like that. So which brings us to our topic today, which is why are people selling? When should they sell, and how we can help them be successful in that, right? So when you're doing most of your loan apps, what type of buyer are you seeing? Are you seeing people buying because of retirement, because downsizing, upsizing, first time buyers? What's your
pretty much the entire gamut. I mean, I'm not, it's all over. It all depends. I mean, a lot of people are retiring,
yeah,
and moving out of state. A lot of people are, looking to buy their first home. They,
Right.
There's a lot of most 30-year-olds. Again, it goes back to that 30 to 40 age group for your first time buyers.
Right.
A lot of people waited,
right,
and here we are. So, I see that a lot. And then I see those that, in my mind, are more afraid to even consider asking the question, which surprises me, because there's no reason not to inquire.
Right.
There's no cost to do it.
right.
It's a phone call and 10 or 15 minutes of your time
Yeah.
to find out what you can do.
Right.
Which I'm amazed that people think you need 20% down to buy a home still. It's amazing.
We hear that.
Yeah.
We do.
Where,
Hear that, yeah. Sure.
VA, no money down. Conventional, 3% down. FHA, 3.5%. I
Mhm.
mean, it's all
Right.
available, but
Yeah.
everybody's got this notion from somewhere that
Right.
we need 20% down to buy a house. No, you don't.
Yep.
No,
you
Money's
don't.
back. The grants are out there. I mean, so if you need the
There's down
additional
payment
funds,
assistance.
Right.
we'll be in good shape.
And I think a lot
So,
of people today that rents, I think half those people are actually inquiring more. They want to find out what they can qualify for, because they've been comfortable renting for so long, but they know rent's going up.
Mhm.
So why not spend a little more to get you something that's comfortable, that you're going to own?
Right.
And I think I've seen a little bit higher applicants that are renting. They've been renting for a while, that are actually curious about what I can qualify for and why not.
Yep. So Shayna just asked a question, asking if we're seeing an exodus from the city. Shayna, hey, thanks for your question. Appreciate it.
I see it going both ways, but I've
Yeah.
seen earlier on more coming out this way with the whole COVID thing, but it's changing a little bit. I think, you're seeing more things opening up in the cities now, but
Right.
I don't do as much in the city market, but I know it's still, crazy busy too. So,
Right.
yeah.
We're seeing a lot of buyers, at least on my end,
Right.
seeing a lot of the buyers from further towards the city moving out this direction.
Right.
A little bit lower taxes, if that can be said in Illinois. But yeah, we're seeing that really heavy for a long time. And right now, with just a short inventory, we're still seeing that, aspect.
Right.
The rule was that it's cheaper to rent than buy, and that's not necessarily the
No.
case.
Not no
right?
more.
And the thing when it comes to renting, if you think about it, let's say you're renting and paying $1,500 a month in rent. Well, that's all going somewhere. That money's gone.
Oh yeah.
Let's assume you're now paying $1,700 to buy even a little bit nicer home, maybe. What most people don't realize is $300 of that $1,700 or $350 of that $1,700 starting out with is actually going in their pocket.
Mhm.
So what's the real cost of owning? Because that $350 is going to pay the loan down. So they're putting equity in their pocket. So even though the payment might go up a little bit, overall, the cost of owning versus renting is lower because of the fact that you're technically starting to pay actually putting money in your own pocket,
paying yourself back,
and paying that mortgage down. And as time goes on, that monthly amount that you're paying down goes up and up and up and up,
Right.
as you pay the loan down. So that's what a lot of people don't realize when, I'm going to try to keep my mortgage payment the same as my, rent payment was. Well, okay, I can understand that.
Sure.
But let's look at what you're really doing. That $1,500 in rent is all gone. That $1,700 maybe in a mortgage payment is really only $1,350 a month in cost to own, because right out of the box, that $350 is paying your principal down.
Mhm.
Well,
Or
absolutely.
some,
some portion of it, right?
Right. So, people don't realize that either. Anyway,
There, but I digress.
I digress.
Are you guys? Shana wants to know: are appraisals matching up with sale prices?
Good question.
I have seen surprisingly not that many that are coming in low.
Yeah.
Because the market is what the market is.
Right.
And I still look at back in the 2007, 8, 9
Right.
crash.
At the peak, yeah.
I don't see that we've even come back to those values yet. Not even close in a lot of cases from what I have seen, that the home values aren't even back to where they were back in, those days. So is there some more room? I don't know. But in terms of appraisals, I really have only had a couple in the past 6 months that have been a problem. But overall,
Right.
I'm not really seeing that as an issue at all.
Right. And
So-
appraisals are not the devil, right? So a lot of people say, the appraisal, and appraisers, they got a tough job and they're being held accountable for what they do, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So as they're doing that, the appraisal is actually a little bit of a protection for a buyer. An uneducated buyer willing to pay more for a house than it's actually worth, or and sometimes appraisals are right on, and sometimes they should be challenged. But I think they're good to keep people in check and make sure that we protect some buyers that either aren't properly educated, right? Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's kind of a peace of mind for especially a first-time buyer going through the
Absolutely.
process, to make sure that they haven't overpaid for a home potentially.
Well,
You know,
the difference I think now from 2006, 2007 is an appraisal. They go with comps or comparables, they call
Right.
it. Here, you're able to get a comparable within a mile now
Right.
because the houses have moved and the prices and for what they've sold it. Back in 2006, if you remember that, they were like, well, this is 3.5, 4.5 miles away,
Right.
Yeah.
stretching it out. So now a lot of what I would call the comps are pretty tight and they're in the neighborhood.
Yep. And comps back then, the housing market,
Yeah.
the house prices were coming down. Here they're on their way up, right? So even people that are in trouble or haven't been able to pay their mortgage, many of them are able to sell it and get out
And
from
make a
underneath
profit.
it, then
Yeah.
have to go into short
Yeah.
sale or foreclosure.
Exactly.
And now we're starting to see some short sales and foreclosures come back on the market, which is fantastic for buyers. Unfortunate, we don't want to see anybody in that position. But there's many reasons for people to be moving these days. And we're seeing some estate sales, unfortunately that happens, right?
Right.
Now is there,
People pass away. Sure.
yes, that's a fact. That's a fact. Is for interest rates, we're doing well, right? Not too bad for the Fed's raised rates on the 27th, was it, or 26th? What day was that? I don't remember.
Yeah. And a lot of what the feds do is really short term is all they can affect. So I see them as raising short term, having a beneficial effect on the long term. If they would raise a little more even, we would see probably lower rates on like your 30-year. And I think we're going to see that. I think this move has been considerably quicker going up than it ever should have been for now.
Right.
So that knee jerk tells me, okay, there's going to be a little leveling off here. And we've seen it a little bit here and there over the last couple of weeks where, you're seeing some dips and they're kind of going down, but back up a little bit, but we'll see. Unfortunately, with the war going on and other factors, it's hard to predict where this is going, but
Right.
I think we'll see lower again in the near term down the road in next year or two.
Right.
So even if you bought today, you certainly have the option to refinance at any moment.
Right.
So,
When things
you know,
get better, absolutely.
I mean, back when I bought my first home, it was 11.5%. And I refinanced a couple times over the following 5-6 years, and lowered my rate. So anyway,
That noise can only mean one thing. It's time for the Financial Pulse with Eddie Martinez.
Well, today we got Mike Tobin, and we want to ask for everyone listening, anyone right now that's really on the fence. You've been in the game, we're good at math, so let's round up. Almost 40 years in the business. You've seen the highs of rates and the very lows that we just experienced over the last couple of months, few months. And my question is, what is your advice to those people that are on the fence that are saying that right now 5.5, or even 6% is a high rate? Maybe I should wait. Given the fact that there's inventory shortages, some people do qualify for a good home right now and they have the reserves available. What do you say to them today? If they're on the fence, and that's really one of the main deciding factors, is that someone said, hey, the rate's too high, maybe you should wait. What's your advice to them today?
well, if you looked at that, to me, okay, you might wait a year. The house you want to buy today is probably 10 or 20,000 more a year from now. And realistically, the interest rates are basically where they normally should be in a strong economy.
Right.
I mean, this is normal interest rate pricing at this moment in time for a regular, strong, normal kind of economy.
Yep.
We've just been spoiled over the last 10 years due to the financial meltdown and other factors. So to me, this is normal. I mean, this is totally normal market of how and where rates should be. The other way to look at it is if you are worried about rates, you could look to an adjustable rate loan that's would give you a lower interest rate for, some time, depending on how long you plan on living there.
Right.
So there are options, but, I see this market right now as where the rates are anyway. And the financial stuff is, these are normal rates of what
Right.
usually we've seen over most of the last 40 years or more, So we just gotten spoiled over the last couple of years because of what the meltdown did to us.
Right.
So,
It seemed
and
like-
COVID too,
Right. Oh, COVID. Yeah, absolutely.
So,
It seemed like 2019 was kind of a normal year. And then COVID happened 2020. So we had bad year. Everything was increasing. 24, 15, 16. 2013 is when we hit the bottom. 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18. Things were all crazy. 2019 seemed to be like a normal year. We're like, man, all right, things are back to normal. 2020 COVID happened and bam, it's all over the place, right?
Yeah.
It's just
Right.
amazing.
because rates had risen then. We were
Yeah.
pushing upper fours at that time, and
Yeah.
then COVID came, and then we dropped back into the 3 range again.
Right.
And now here we are, kind of back to normal again,
Right.
really.
So I want to encourage people that are thinking about buying to do it, because I think it's a great opportunity. I don't think rates are going to go down anytime soon, and I don't think prices are going
No.
down anywhere either. So if you're thinking about buying, you think you missed the boat, you have not. These are great interest rates. Get out there and buy a house.
Yeah.
So
And,
that's what I say.
and usually it's a 5 or 7 year cycle. So you may have an
Right.
opportunity, but it might be down the road a number of years. But again, the concern is, what's the price of the real estate going to be you want to buy today
Right.
versus a year from now or 2?
And the rates
You know.
might be 9, 10, 11%. Who knows? Right?
You don't know.
My crystal ball
Right.
broke. I dropped it the other day. I am so angry
I
with
know.
myself.
Right. Oh, I know. But yeah, the one thing I can say is prices of homes are going to continue to rise because the demand certainly has not let up. So,
It is not. It is not. And that's yeah. So that's
so if you're going to buy, and you can
absolutely
right
I'm
now.
with you.
Yeah.
So
right now,
as you're looking at homes and a lot of first time buyers and stuff like that, we're seeing people coming in and saying, well, I don't want an HOA, that extra fee, or I do want an HOA. I don't want to cut grass and shovel snow and stuff like that. So I have to buy a townhome or a condo. So I have that HOA protecting me. If they buy a single family home, they could still pay kind of an HOA, right? And pay a landscaper and a snow shoveler
Sure.
and a whatever kind of guy they like, right? Or person, gal, anybody?
It's all seasonal either way. So
Right,
Yeah.
seasonal,
Right.
right? So when you budget that, you do go through. What do you go through when you talk to somebody about buying, whether it be they're on the fence of condo versus house?
association, no
What is that?
association.
Yeah, rules, right?
Well, I usually explain to people that if you're looking at a $250 a month association fee, you're probably going to have the same payment if you had about a $40,000 more, expensive home
Mhm.
without that association fee. It's generally $55 per 10,000.
Right.
So do the math. If you have 250-ish or 300,
Mhm, sure.
40 to 50,000 difference, depending on what the tax difference might be a little bit.
Right.
But to me, pay the high school kid every 2 weeks to mow the grass.
Right.
There's plenty of those around.
Sure.
And how often do we even have snow anymore around here to shovel, really? So,
A week or two of snow, right?
yeah, exactly. So I look at, if I could, I would rather buy the single family all day long. Plus, I see that those usually appreciate better than a
Yeah.
condo in the
Right.
long run,
Sure.
Right.
and for
Agree.
sure. So,
Yeah.
And HOA fees don't go down.
No.
they're gonna
They
go
only go
right?
up, actually. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like taxes. They don't-
exactly.
I guess taxes could go down, right?
Plus, then there are the rules. Yeah. What state we live in?
Yeah. What?
The other thing
Please
too.
send all your comments to
Yeah.
Kevin Kovac.
Yeah. The other thing too with the HOA fees is, now you have all these rules you got to abide by.
Yeah.
You
Know
know,
this, know that. This.
can't play your music loud on occasion
This
if you
height,
wanted to.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Have the bonfire out behind your townhouse.
Oh,
right.
That's not going to happen.
Can't
So-
park your car
Right.
here.
right.
Little
So-
things, right?
Little things that can drive you nuts,
So-
but that's my opinion.
There's a lot happening out there, and a lot of whispers and things. And Shayna asked, the multi-unit seems properties are they being purchased up by large corporate entities? And she says, have you seen it here in our area? And she goes, oh, and by the way, I too had an 11.5% back in '87.
Yeah.
God bless you. Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. What are you guys seeing? Are they big corporations coming in and buying
I've
the
read.
multi
I haven't
units?
seen myself on that question. I don't know what you've seen or read out there.
I don't have those come across my desk as often as I might like to.
Right.
So I'm not 100% sure, but I will say this. On a 4-unit, if you were to live in one of the units, you can go
FHA.
3.5% down, owner occupied, go in FHA, all the way up to a 4-unit. So a lot of people I am seeing have taken advantage of that.
Absolutely.
I'm
That's the
working
way
with
to do it.
someone today, right now, who's
Nice.
considering doing that. FHA's, owner occupied, is the only avenue out there to get away with that little down payment on a 4-unit property.
Right.
Most of them on 4-unit, you're at least 20 to 25 down
Yeah.
going
You-
conventional. But if you can go FHA, and most people can easily go FHA,
Sure.
you could almost live there for free with the other,
The 3
3 units
Yeah.
paying for the property. So it's certainly,
Great.
Uh,
Yeah. I love
for a
that idea.
first-time buyer, is not a bad way to go.
I have a few multi-family units coming up, and the inquiries we've been getting have not been from corporations. They've been from
Yeah.
individuals, families, people looking for their kids, an investment property, put their kids in one and them in the other, or families coming together again. It's parents on one level and
Sure.
kids on another level. And they use it up to 4 units. So a 2-unit, 2 flat, 3 flat, 4 flat,
Correct.
FHA, 3.5% down.
That's not
Live
bad.
in
Owner
one and rent the other 3 out. Let them pay your rent.
Yeah.
Pay your mortgage. I love it.
Yeah. It's a great way to go.
Get coin operated laundry.
Two quick questions
Yes.
for Mike. Mike, how do you help people in their attempt to move? So right, they're going to move, and let's say they're downsizing or upsizing, whatever the case may be. They haven't done this for, I don't know, 15, 20 years. Let's say that they've been in their house. How do you help them be successful on that financial end of things?
What I tell all agents that I work with, if you know that you're going to have a listing coming up, and someone's going to want to downsize or upsize, either way, and they own a home now, get them to me early before you list the property, because there are a number of avenues to look at pulling that equity. And the reason I bring that up is in this market, if you have a home sale contingency, you're probably not going to win
They're tough.
and get the house under contract for the home you want to buy. So if you get them early enough to me, we can look at all the toolbox, the whole toolbox is available.
Right.
To look at home equity loans or other avenues of what can we do to try to get you to the point of being non-contingent on the sale of your home to purchase a new one and sell it later.
Right.
It gives you a huge advantage in order to win the bid and win the home and get the home under contract that you want in this very competitive market right now.
I love that. So to be able to talk with a financial guy like yourself, to see all the angles before you go, let's just say you go talk to Kevin, who really doesn't care, just wants to put a sign in your yard and sell it.
Sign for you, baby.
I'm just kidding. Kevin's not like that, right? But to that point is right. You think differently than a realtor does because you sell a different product. I mean, that's right.
Well, my job is to help the client and help the agent make happen what the client wants.
Yeah.
And
Love it.
if they get to me early enough, I've got a huge toolbox of options with the almost 40 years of experience that can allow someone to buy a home and qualify without having to sell. Obviously they want to, and they will right away. Because the other way I look at it is, let's say you've got the house under contract. Now you're scrambling to try to find another home.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice to find the house you really want
And take your time.
and take your time?
Right.
If, depending on the situation, sometimes you can't, but the sooner I can talk to somebody, even before they list their current home, give me 3-4 weeks is all the time ahead of time that I really need to have all the options available. It's huge what we can do or what I can do to look at, someone having the options to buy without selling.
And I think today with the values being where they're at, that's the best position for someone that has been in their home a long time. They want to upgrade to that second level of home that they were looking for.
Sure.
Why not do the plans that you've outlined a little bit here? And those are just great options to have and to look into as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a myriad of options that we could go over, but in this time frame or in this, quote setting is not the place. But
we want to get sellers pre-qualified to buy the next house.
Yeah.
Just because you own a house and you're making payments on a house currently doesn't mean that you're going to qualify
Correct.
for a mortgage once you sell your house. So you don't want to sell it and be like, well, I can't get a mortgage. I can't buy anything. Now you're looking for a rental or moving in with family or something like that, which would be horrible.
And of course, if our listeners out there wanted to chat with you, Mike, how do they get in touch with you?
Best way is call my cell phone.
Right.
That's
There you
right.
go.
The answer is
847-815-4870.
there it is.
There it is.
And of course, he's also out there. He's got a nice website, and you can just hit apply now. And the phone number is there as well. And that's Key Mortgage, right? / Mike Tobin, NMLS 232141. I'll
Thank
keep you
you.
compliant, brother.
Thank you.
So
Love it.
you're
Love
licensed
it.
in Illinois, Wisconsin, and Florida.
Florida, correct.
And is there any difference in programs? Do you have access to someone who lives in Florida for those benefits versus what we offer here in Illinois?
Correct.
Like DPP or
There are different down payment, assistance programs through each of the states,
Right.
depending. And I work with, the Wisconsin ones. Most of my business is Illinois and Wisconsin. So we can do WIDA in Wisconsin. We can do IDA here in Illinois, Illinois Housing Development Authority. They're all down payment assistance programs for first-time buyers or someone who hasn't technically, some of them now have actually loosened up where you don't have to even be a first-time buyer.
Right.
And you can still get the benefit. But generally, most people don't realize that if you haven't owned real estate in 3 years, you're considered a first-time home buyer again.
Right.
Mhm.
So there are some advantages to that too, depending on what your circumstances are.
Right.
So, but in terms of other states, I do have access to other states through Key Mortgage. I mean, we are licensed in a myriad of other states and can help in, a number of different locations too. So,
Right.
Good, great.
And relocating, there's a lot of people doing that these days. people are moving to warmer climates. Some people miss the seasons. They come into places like Illinois and stuff. Every state has different things, family, jobs, etc., economic barriers. Buying a house in California probably gonna be a little more expensive than buying one in Detroit. Maybe I don't, the car dealership, I don't even know what they're doing out there. But anyway, but they're different price points across the globe. And as people are looking at lifestyle changes, could they buy a house, rent out their house, count that as income, and then own 2 homes?
Yes. It's called departing residence is the technical term for it. And yes, you can rent your current home. And as long as you have, enough in down payment, depending on what you want to do or what your circumstances are. And again, maybe we get early in the game before we do that, so we can pull some equity out of your current home. But yes, you can rent your current home, and technically we can wash the payment out as though you don't even have a debt, in order to give you the full range of purchasing power all over again, depending on where you want to go. So yes.
There you go. Of course, that music, that means it's Freedom Friday with Kevin Colback.
Happy Freedom Friday, man. This is the day that you break the chains that bind you, whatever they may be. And we're going to beat up on, because I've had an experience this past couple of weeks of people not being able to qualify for a mortgage or think they can qualify for more than they can. And they don't understand how that debt to income affects them, and that credit score can negatively impact them. But they also don't understand that we can get mortgages down to at least 580, right? 580, right. We can get people mortgages. People work with ITINs and stuff like that. Is get rid of that debt, lose it, start paying it off. You can contact Dave Ramsey folks with Financial Peace University. Contact your local lender. They have a lot of ways of increasing your credit score to get you into that new home. And sometimes it's easy as writing a letter. Sometimes just literally pay something off real quick, a couple phone calls, and it's just that easy. And then these guys, Mike Tobin here, can definitely help you with that as well. So that's my Freedom Friday. Break the chains, baby.
Yes, definitely.
So for those folks that apply and they're not credit ready, where do you guide them? What do you tell them? What kind of advice do you provide to them to get them, positioned to win maybe later on, down the line?
Believe it or not, depending on what the credit issues are, I've been able to take people in about a week's time, 60, 70, 80 points higher, depending on what the situation is and what they're willing to do. That quickly.
Legal things.
No, it is legal.
No, I get it.
It's completely legal. I'm not kidding.
Sign here.
Seriously.
It's
just experience of how things work.
Yeah,
I mean, there are legitimate ways to jumpstart someone with, depending on how minor it might be. It could be nothing more than one medical collection.
Right.
Can dump your scores 50 or 60 points. It's amazing. And a lot of people don't even realize that they even have a medical collection out there, which boggles my mind in terms of how the, medical quote field affects credit at times.
For students or student debt or what have you. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the biggest thing is, yes, I can certainly help someone look at their credit very quickly, determine what needs to be done. Debt to income ratios, it's a matter of 10 minutes online to fill out an application, and we can have a 10-minute, 15-minute conversation or whatever it takes to figure out what you need to do to get ready. No cost, no obligation. I always say, why not figure it out 6 months early? You're in a lease maybe, and it's, and it's not, and it's 6 months away before the lease is up. Yeah. Okay, let's talk now.
Well, you can start looking for a house 4 months before
your lease
expires, so you don't have any double payments, right?
But no, I agree. Let's get them prepared. Plan of attack so that when 6 months, that's already taken care of.
Yeah.
Now we just worry about the rest.
I find so many people are, hey, my lease is up in 2 months and I want to get pre-approved. Well, we got 6 months worth of issues to deal with here, or whatever we have to do to get you ready.
Right.
So the sooner you can reach out, and again, there's nothing to be afraid of. It's not overwhelming. Everybody thinks this is an overwhelming process. It's crazy. It's not.
No.
It's just talking to somebody. That's all it is. Pick up the phone and talk to somebody. It's that simple. we don't bite, right?
Right. Yeah, that's
I mean,
Well,
you know,
Only when we
hard.
sail.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's never mind.
I mean,
Here's a question comes in from a listener for Kevin and Mike. You guys have been in the industry for a long time. I got into the industry in early 2020 when everything was really good, and now things are slowing down. What do you tell new professionals in your business on how to hang in there?
biggest thing is be consistent with what you need to do in terms of making the phone calls and staying in front of people.
Right.
The main thing is, like anything, lead generation, if you want to look at it that way. It's talking to your referral source, sphere of influence, and everything that goes along with that, and just
Right.
staying in front of those that refer business to you, so they know you're there to help.
Right.
And
If
that's
you're-
really what it comes down to.
Right. And then my other thing I would add to that, because you're absolutely right, is I would say partner up, have a mentor, have somebody that you can follow that's going to lead you and show you the things you need to do. Because there's, making 10 calls on Monday and then sitting there waiting for the phone to ring is not going to work for you.
No.
There's a lot of paid resources out there that you can get leads from. Those can be very expensive. There's lead sources that can do other things, but really partner up with somebody, stay busy, don't be afraid of the phone. That's really the biggest thing.
Yeah.
It's your best friend.
And talk to people, talk to
know,
all your family, anybody.
Let
across the
everybody know
globe.
what you do.
Let them know what you do. Get
Yeah.
on social media. Let them know what you do.
And just keep plugging along. The main thing is get up with the attitude that you're gonna, win the golden pot of whatever gold
Right.
at the end of the rainbow
Yeah.
every day, and that's
Mhm.
going to happen if you have that attitude.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
that's all it
I
is.
agree.
The other thing that I learned from you two guys is continue to improve yourself. Right, you got to know
Absolutely.
the ins, the outs, the ups, the downs, the guidelines, the laws, the this, the that, the third. It seems like today a lot of people want to shortcut those, and you
True.
two gentlemen have proven to me and encouraged me to you got to sharpen your skill and your knowledge every day.
Yeah, I find that you need to be on top of the game, be the consummate professional.
Yep.
Along with all the other aspects that go with this. I mean, over the years, I've learned IRS tax returns like the back of my hand. Because if you have a self-employed borrower, you need to understand how they work to
Right.
qualify someone.
Yeah.
However, knowing that knowledge or having that knowledge also lets you know, well, what's the tax implications of owning this home, and on and on and on. It's not just about the loan. It's about every aspect of the whole financial piece that I've found over the years is, people are so grateful. How does the insurance industry work?
Right. Absolutely.
How can certain things within your homeowner's insurance affect, how much you're paying for homeowner's insurance? The list is endless of what's the whole process, but what's really the whole financial picture. Be the financial planner in a way
Right.
for that client, and don't just look at the one little aspect. Is what has
Mhm.
definitely set me apart, is
Right.
having all that additional knowledge
Absolutely.
to counsel someone
Yep.
with any question.
I agree.
So-
Sure.
And there are a lot of classes out there that you can take, and conventions you can go to, and resources that you can look at. And I go to 2 conventions a year. I'm constantly taking classes to keep on top of what's going on now, what's happened in the past. Not always having that answer, but knowing where to go get it too.
Right.
Right.
If I don't know, I'm not going
Buffalo, yeah.
to,
Right.
no, I'm
We're not
going to
making it
pick up
up.
the phone and find
Right.
out. And that's what the learning is all about. Nobody wants to be sold. Everybody wants to be educated. That is a critical thing of
Yeah,
how
absolutely.
I've structured what I do. No one wants to be sold something. We want to be educated so that we can make the comfortable and proper decision for our family, period.
Mhm.
Yep.
And that's what it comes down to too.
Yep.
Is, a first-time buyer, I'm going to take them under my wing. I'm going to explain everything. It might be a half-hour conversation instead of 10 minutes, whatever it
Right.
takes. Here's how much money you're going to need. Here's how the tax credits work.
Right.
Here's how this works, and et cetera. It's just all of those things to make someone be able to make a decision and feel comfortable doing it, like with anything.
Yeah. And each of those circumstances are different, whether it's 55 plus, moving into an active adult community, or you're downsizing, or it's a estate sale. Those are all different things that we know about that
Mhm.
is important for folks to work with somebody that's full-time and an experienced agent, right? Part-time agents are great. They tend not to be is experienced, unless they're in
Or
retirement
is available either.
Right.
or is available as well too
And,
Right.
in this market.
and as a loan officer, do you make it a point to meet all of your clients, or are some just over the phone? I have a mixture of both in my experience.
Yeah, those that need to meet with me, I have no problem doing it. I mean, if they want to do a face-to-face with technology, with COVID, and I was one that I always wanted to go, meet with everybody. And
Yeah.
I've learned that with COVID and everything else, you don't have to, because everybody is in such a fast-paced environment in life these days, that a lot of people are more than happy to, quote
Well,
over the phone or
We're
what
all
have you,
connected easier too.
or even a Zoom meeting.
Right.
There's your face-to-face these days.
Right.
I mean, you don't
Yeah.
have to shake a hand. You can shake a hand through a computer.
Right.
Click that button, sir.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I've got friends who tell me, yeah, I don't need to go out. All my friends live in the computer. I mean, it's
That's right.
He's in the metaverse.
anyway. Yeah,
That's right.
exactly. But anyway, so, to me, a lot of business these days is done online, over the phone,
Yep.
and in the Zoom stuff, in that culture. And most people don't mind doing that. They're still
Right.
getting the same education, which is really what they want to make a comfortable decision.
Sure. And if you're providing good information, they know that.
Of
right?
course.
They
And-
know if you're trying to BS them for sure.
Yeah. And
Um,
that's all anybody wants, is to feel comfortable making a decision. That's all any of us
Absolutely.
want when we go to buy something,
right.
is
Absolutely.
understand what we're getting into, know what we're buying, know what the options are, and feel comfortable doing it. And that to me is a critical piece of being in this for almost 40 years and taking care of people.
Right.
99% of my business is referral
Right.
from past customers,
That's
real
the way it should
estate
be.
agents.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. And that tells me that I am doing the job right.
Yeah.
Sure. Sure.
Making a difference in someone's life and
Exactly.
impacting others through their connection and whatnot. So,
Exactly.
There's a lot. Yeah. I'll tell you, as people are moving across the globe, right? And we're able to help them. That is a pretty exciting time. Whenever we can help somebody. There's so many different reasons that people move these days. To be versed in all of those is challenging, and that education is going to be a key part.
Yeah.
But helping people, whether they're downsizing, upsizing, passing estate sales, having those resources is important. And there's people that specialize in things like waterfront or something like that. So whatever
Sure.
what you're looking for, look for who's the best fit for you. Because I might not be the best fit for everybody. You might not be the best fit
Of
for everybody.
course.
I find that hard to believe. Both of you guys.
But it's good to talk to a couple different people just to make sure you're comfortable with what you're doing and who you're picking to work with. And that's it. Lifestyle, as people change, life changes.
Of course.
Where we go and what we do throughout life, and we always have different avenues that we need to look. right?
absolutely.
And Mike Tobin's been doing it for 38 years. Man, that's a lot older than I am.
Okay.
Don't say anything, Eddie.
I'm the guest today. No.
So it sounds like you got a great spring market going. Thanks for being out there. Thanks for coming on today.
Yeah. Thank you
We love
guys.
having you.
It's been a lot of fun.
It has, and it's been knowledgeable about the things that people need to look for and the things we can do and how they can be successful no matter what their transition or lifestyle change is. It's important to be educated. And thank you
Yes,
for coming.
indeed.
And it's, as we look at that, we say it's a wrap up Friday, Freedom Friday. Thanks for coming today, buddy.
Yeah. Thank
That's
you
it.
guys. It's been a pleasure.
Of course, you've been tuned in to 21.6 today. This is the Neighborhood Pulse. We can't thank Michael Tobin, Senior Vice President of Lending over at Key Mortgage. Check him out at michael.tobin@mykeymortgage.com or give him a call on the cell 847-815-4870. He will take the time to answer your questions and set you up for success in your next real estate transaction. For all of us here in the Neighborhood Pulse, thank you to Mobile Accounting Inc. 224-321-6859 www.mobile.tax. Come back in about an hour and 15 minutes for In the Know with Steph and Joe.
That's it. You got a busy weekend?